I'm so glad you're here listening to the Sustain Your Passion podcast. I'm Genesis, your host and business development expert. If you're ready to make a bigger impact and income while helping others, then you're in the right place. Thanks for joining me, and I can't wait to help you sustain your passion. Hi everyone, welcome to this episode of Sustain Your Passion. So today I am going to talk to you all about the core foundation of everything I do in my career, my business, my life, and that is self-love. And I know you might be like, oh gosh, that's a woo-woo term. What does that mean? That's so vague. I don't know. Okay, but hold on. I have thoughts. So if you struggle with feeling like you are a people pleaser, with feeling a lot of resentment, with feeling like you can never say no or set a boundary, with feeling like your time isn't yours and you're just burnt out or on the verge of burnout and just dragging your feet every day, this episode is for you. Because my guess is that you either don't know what your true desires are or you're struggling to follow them. Because otherwise, you might not be as burnt out, exhausted, and unhappy, right? If you were doing things that lit you up, that were in alignment with who you are and your values and who you want to become, you would be enjoying the journey of doing the things you do. But if you're currently not feeling that way, I think you're going to like this episode. So I was just interviewed for an Instagram Live recently, and she asked me so many good questions that I just wanted to re-answer them here on the podcast for you all, because holy smokes, they were really good questions, and they prompted me to talk about some really interesting stories that I think will connect with you if you are a new coach and you're struggling to find, what do I really want to do right now and how do I do it? Because I deeply understand that struggle, first and foremost. That is exactly why I'm good at helping people with it, is because I know what it's like to feel like you're not really sure what you want to do and to feel kind of burnt out and resentful. But ultimately, you want to follow your true desires. You want to be in alignment. You want more happiness. You want more freedom and joy in your life, but maybe you're not sure how to get there. So I want to talk you through my thoughts around the importance of following your true desires in your career and life and business. And I'm going to do that by answering a couple of questions. So the first question that Erin asked me on the recent Instagram Live, which if you want to watch that version of it, just pop over to my Instagram and hear what I said on that interview. But here I'll probably go a bit more in depth than I did on that Instagram Live. So the first question that Erin asked me was, you mentioned on an Instagram post that your biggest mistake was not trusting your true desires in your business. Tell us more about that and why it's so important to listen to your true desires. So to me, that disconnected feeling that we all get sometimes that says, I'm bored, or I don't want to do that, or I just feel out of alignment, like ick, right? I'm sure you know the feeling I'm talking about. That feeling of my alarm went off and I just want to hit snooze and go back to bed. I do not want to go do what I'm supposed to do today. I wish I could just swap lives with someone else for a day because I'm so burnt out and tired of all of the crap I'm doing. Now, if you are experiencing any of those feelings, it's probably because you don't know how to listen to your true desires. But it's so freaking important, because otherwise you will experience all of that pain simply because you're living out of alignment with your true desires, your values, and your goals. But what happens and why this happens, I think, is because we make decisions and then we evolve and grow, but we don't change the decisions we made. So you take a job, 2 years ago thinking this is a great fit, and then life happens, right? You grow, you evolve, you change over time. The organization changes over time. Your family situation changes, the environment, the community, whatever. You may have totally new priorities 2 years later, but because you said yes to this job 2 years ago, you feel stuck in it. Why? They could fire you at any point. That's the bullshit of at will employment, right? They can terminate your employment anytime. They can end your grant if they want to. But you're so committed to staying in that job because you accepted it 2 years ago. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. When as soon as you start feeling that inkling, like, oh, maybe this wasn't a good fit, or like, I'm kind of bored, or I don't want to go to work tomorrow. Like, as soon as you start feeling that, like, your true desires are out of alignment with your decisions. And that's probably because you're currently living in the product of the decisions you made years ago. And that makes sense, right? Like, you probably made a good decision for yourself back then, but you've changed and grown since then. And maybe you just haven't stopped long enough to look around and really survey, like, what all's going on in my life right now and what's out of alignment and what do I need to change to feel more happiness and joy and freedom and fulfillment in my career and life. And then do the next brave and courageous thing that actually is moving you towards your true desires. Maybe it's not a radical change like quitting your job and starting a business. Maybe it's subtly, talking to your manager about taking you off a project that's really overwhelming so you have more joy in your life and you like your job again. Like, any change towards you being happier is worth it. Because if you aren't caring for and looking at who you are and what you want, you will eventually be living in old decisions that are outdated to like the new version of you. So this is part of why I highly recommend a regular self-love habit practice. And I have a journal all about this now. Duncan's pretty excited over there. I have a self-love daily habit journal for this reason, because the more you can look at the things that make you happy and the things that make you maybe not so happy, the better informed you can make your decisions. Like, why not include your happiness and joy as a factor when you make decisions, right? And to do that takes actually knowing what your true desires are. So that was the first question, and that is a bit more in depth about my thoughts there. Now, the second question was, you posted on Instagram how currently you work between 15 to 20 hour weeks as a business coach and make an average of 10K months. Has it always been like this for you, or is this something that took years to achieve? So definitely took me years to achieve it. On this podcast, I talk a lot about what that's looked like. But in general, like, I didn't actually try to go full time and make 10K in my business until like 2 years ago, or a year and a half. I don't know. Like, once I finally left my last job, and then it was, it's been consistent ever since. So for me, the biggest difference was like, once I felt like I knew what I was doing as a business owner, and I could like reasonably predict that if I do these tasks, these outcomes will happen, then I was comfortable to actually like leave my job and see what it was like and only receive income from my work in the business. And it's just continued to grow. So it's pretty freaking awesome. But yeah, it took me a while to learn the foundational skills, to trust myself that I could do it, and then to actually give all of my time to my business over splitting it with other jobs, or like I also taught for a little while, like different things like that. But to actually trust that like, I could actually make my full 10K. And now, like I know I can, and I'm actually planning out my strategy for growing to 25K months. So it's pretty cool that like it's totally possible. And it didn't have to take me as long as it did, but it did because I had a lot of money blocks and like stability stuff to work out and trauma from my childhood that like also impacted how I was making decisions in my career and my business. Like, I didn't know that I could trust what made me happy as a guidepost and that would be supported. So it took me a bit longer than I think it has to. Okay, question 3 was, can you share any client wins that you're really proud of? I have so many wins. I freaking love my clients and all the work they do. Like, I have a client right now who just recorded her first webinar draft. She's getting ready to market her brand new program. I have another client who sold her first spot in her coaching program, and that is so freaking excited for her. Like, that was her big goal this year, and it happened. Like, I am just constantly impressed with my clients. But I also love the wins that are like, you helped me talk to my husband without fighting because I knew what I wanted and I was able to engage with him differently now. And like, that's so cool to me. Like, what? Or you helped me find a connection with this cool nonprofit that I get to go teach my lessons to and have this huge collaboration with people around the world because you helped me confidently show up and talk about the thing I love to do online. Like, so many freaking cool wins. But most notably recently, I have to talk about Rachel and her success. Rachel killed it in my program. Like, she just came in and was like ready to do the work and absorb it and shine. And she ended up quadrupling her enrollment in her program, having the biggest launch she's ever had, making over $8,000 from that launch, and like enjoying the process, I think she said, like, and not hating it in her review. And it's like, that's so important, right? Because how are you going to sustain your passion for your business if you hate the methods that go into you making money in it, right? Like, you're not going to want to do it long term if you hate the process. So like, that is just such a good win for me because it's not just about like, oh yeah, she made more money than she expected to, more money than she ever has on a launch before. Cool. But she actually enjoyed it, so she can do it again. Like, she enjoyed the process, so she knows just like wash, rinse, repeat, do it again. Like, it's that easy. And that makes me really happy because ultimately my goal as a business coach isn't like flash in the pan, huge success overnight. Like, it's actually sustainable growth and income replacement, which to me is all about figuring out what works for you and then doing it over and over again. So those are some client wins that I'm really, really proud of. Clients that get in, do the work, show up with their shit, and let me poke and prod and help them overcome their mindset blocks, their money blocks, their marketing blocks, and then go out and shine in their chosen niche. I think that's so cool. Okay, question 4 was, if you could go back in time to when you were starting out in your business or as a coach, what advice would you give to your younger self? Whew. So for me, I really wish that I had known, and I think I might have given a slightly different answer on the Instagram Live. I don't know. But right now, the advice I would give myself is, it's actually advice I give my clients all the time. It's so interesting. And it's something that like, I just continue to have to rework. Like, it is a continued block for me at every level, it feels like. And maybe eventually it won't be, but like, I'm learning how to overcome it faster, which is cool. But like, the advice I would give is like, no, really trust yourself. Like, you know you're ready for a change, but you're coming up with excuses and air quote reasons why you can't make a change, but none of those are real. Like, none of those are actually real. Like, none of them are actually going to harm you or like put you at risk if you slow down and think about it. Like, it's pretty rare. And like, at least for me right now, like that. And back then, like, I was still working full time. It was for fun. It was on top of my income. So like, why not start my business when I did it, you know? So the advice for me would be like, you really can just get started. You really can just have fun with it and see how it goes. And you deserve to have fun. And if learning how to start a business is fun for you, like, who the fuck are you to stop yourself from having fun? And so I guess my advice to myself back then, in the most blunt way, would be like, let yourself have more fun and get started sooner because you're ready. Okay, question 5. What do you wish that more coaches knew about sales? Such a good question, Erin. Okay, what I wish that more coaches knew about sales is that when you love your product, so like when you love the coaching program you're selling, it sells so much fucking better because you're going to want to talk about it more and you're going to be more excited about it. And people want to hear from excited people. People don't want to hear from boring, like, oh yeah, this is my program, I guess it's good, whatever, like, if you want it. Nobody's gonna buy that. But if you genuinely are excited and you want clients in your program because the way you designed it matches your lifestyle and you can't wait to have clients fill in those spots, You're going to want to talk about it all day and all night, and you're going to talk about it like a normal human being, not like a forced robot trying to sell a certain thing. Like, really, like, sales gets easier the more you let yourself put out the offers you genuinely want to put out. But that takes trusting yourself that your desires to pivot are right and good and can work out for you. But that takes self-trust, right? Like, back to the first question, like, it takes self-trust. So what I wish more coaches knew about sales is that you really can change your mind. You really can do exactly what you want to do, and you'll probably make more money and have more fun if you do that. So that would be my advice. That's what I wish more coaches knew about sales, is that it's actually way fucking easier when you actually like what you're selling and you own the decisions of what you sell. So, like, why would you ever try selling something you're not enthusiastic about? You know? So do that. Okay, question 6. How can people find you if they'd like to work with you? Of course, you can find me on Instagram at Genesis_Rose, on my website, genesisrose.com, or on Facebook. I've actually been like killing it over on Facebook lately. I've been using it a ton. So feel free to friend me on Facebook or follow me over there too. I share pretty much every single day on these platforms. I also write an email list, and right now Passion to Paychecks is open. It's so good. And speaking of living in true desire mode and enjoying your offers, like, I'm adding a bit more sales training into Passion to Paychecks. So it is just so good right now. Like, if you have been thinking about working with me, I can't tell you, like, there's such a good deal right now. And I only tell people like these kind of deals like once I'm talking to them, because I know that they actually give a shit about hearing about my deals. So, like, if you are sitting there and you're like, gosh, I want to know what it is, like, I'd consider working with her, especially if there was like a really good deal right now. Just fucking message me. Like, message me on Instagram. Literally just like message me and be like, hey, what's the deal you mentioned on your podcast? I'll tell you. It's so good. Yeah. Okay. So if you'd like to work with me, you have options. If you want more free support, you have options for that too. So hopefully this episode was helpful in getting you to think a little bit more about how to follow your true desires in your business, in your career, in your life, and how ultimately picking a niche, creating an offer, and marketing your services in a way that aligns well with you and your lifestyle goals and your values is an act of self-love. So with that, I'm sending you all the love, all the trust that you need to make big, brave, courageous decisions that are in alignment with your best interest, because I think you deserve that. So I hope this episode was helpful. If you have a topic you'd like to hear me speak about, please find me on social media. Let me know. I create these episodes for you, the listeners. So if you have an idea or a question, just send it to me, and I promise I will create a podcast based on your question. So just let me know, and I'll be back next week with more. Thanks, everyone. Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Sustain Your Passion podcast. If this episode helped you gain a bit more clarity, courage, or confidence, please share it with your friends on social media or in a text. It would mean the world to me. Thanks in advance for sharing this episode. I hope you have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.